share. There we go. Okay. Wrong direction. So agenda, I will go through the details of the conference that we know so far. We will go over our process and some considerations as you're putting a proposal together, and then we'll open up for Q&A. I'm so glad Chris is here. He is on our volunteer committee. If you don't know, OD Network is run entirely by volunteers, including our conference. And so we have a great volunteer committee that we're still recruiting for. If volunteering is something you're interested in, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Chris is helping with our call for proposals process. So glad you're here, and you can direct questions to either of us as we go through.
You're the expert. I'm just here to help.
Thanks. Okay. So our theme this year is OD, the Heart of Change, our past, present, and future. And as we were thinking about what the topic of this conference should be, and planning for this happens as the current year's conference is going on. So we've been working on this for almost 9 months now. We were really thinking about what we needed in the world as this conference, and what we wanted to do. And it started to kind of emerge that we were thinking about OD not as individuals, as practitioners, but OD as an instrument for change. And that OD does not belong to any one person. It is a way of going through change, a way of doing work that really anyone can participate in. And we wanted to open up that kind of conversation, thinking about OD as this instrument for change. We also thought it was really important, especially now, it's become even more and more important over the last few months, that OD is a human-centric practice. It is grounded in humanity, and we wanted to keep that humanity and that heart at the center of everything we were talking about, even though sometimes we talk about, case studies and organizations, and we want to talk about numbers and impact. Humanity and heart is at the center of all of our work, and we wanted to make sure that was present. And we also wanted to really be connected to the world. How is it the same as when OD first started many decades ago? How has it changed? And how do we build bridges between past, present, and future practice, between individuals in the field that are coming from all angles? And that's kind of how this idea of past, present, and future emerged. So that's our theme, OD, the Heart of Change, our past, present, and future. It is happening September 28th through October 1st. So that very last week, first week of September, October. And it'll be at Gonzaga University in partnership with the School of Leadership Studies. And I'm super excited about that because that is where I went to grad school. It's a fantastic program. And it really has, they've been tremendous partners as we've been putting this conference together. And I'm very excited to share this school and this space with folks who are maybe less familiar with it. And we'll be in Spokane, Washington, in Washington State, which will be absolutely beautiful that time of year, in the mountains and changing leaves. And it should just be an incredibly picturesque and wonderful little getaway for us to have these very meaningful conversations. So as we are starting to put this together, we're thinking about the goals and objectives for the conference. And what's emerged is that in this time of global disruption and rapid change, every day there's something new coming out that we're all having to adapt to. Organization development stands at a really important crossroads. It is a field centered on change that is maybe not good at always changing itself. And it is a field that should be the most talked about piece of work right now that still nobody's ever heard of. So we're in this really interesting place where the world needs OD now more than ever. And yet we are finding it's harder and harder to find work in this field. It's harder and harder to find new information in this field, and to spread the word of the work that is being done. So we want to kind of stand on that platform for this conference and connect the content with a couple of ideas. This idea of really connecting it to the context of the world we're living in. And that is, macro world that we're living in, as well as the individual experiences of people in our field. And that really connects also to the humanness and humanity first idea. We are a field that's focused in organizations and we do work, but we also are people. And we want to have that kind of connection with the humanity at the center of this work always present. And then the third idea that has really been a goal for us to hit on at this conference is co-creation. And how are we collaborating within OD and with other fields to do change work? The field of OD has changed a lot, and very few people that I know are doing purely OD. A lot of people are doing it in a hybrid fashion or in OD adjacent roles. And there's a lot of interesting conversation to be had there. So we want to focus on bringing folks in and talking about co-creating and collaborating across mechanisms, across fields, across departments as we are exploring these concepts at the conference this year. Um, about the conference and a couple really important things that are informing the theme and the content that we want to feature is we want to speak to leadership and not just leaders. And as we've been deepening our collaboration with the School of Leadership Studies, there's a lot of philosophies there that have really resonated with us around principled leadership, and that there's capacity for leadership in all of us, and it doesn't necessarily matter what your title is. You can show up as a change agent and as a leader in a lot of organizations. They're also really focused on this idea of being connected to the global consciousness and serving the common good, as well as, how do you show up authentically with curiosity and excellence. And so we want to think about these ideas of leadership and really empowering our attendees to show up in that social process of being leaders in their spaces. And then we also want content to be practical, usable, and relevant. We want folks to walk away with something tangible, meaningful that they can take back to their work or their community or their home and start to implement. So for the proposals this year, we really want to focus on workshops and opportunities to practice. We want to focus on case studies that are demonstrating how this work happens in the real world. And we want to invite people of all levels of experience to participate. That doesn't mean that your proposal has to be everything to everyone, but we do want you to think about, who is this for? Is this for experienced OD practitioners that have 30 years under their belt, and are really going to understand the shorthand and the foundations of this field? Or is this for someone who's maybe new to OD, but is doing a lot of change work in their role, and could use some of these tools to do it a lot better? So thinking about reaching all types of people and offering some very practical takeaways. Again, just talking about how amazing this location is. If you haven't been to Gonzaga or Eastern Washington, it's going to be in the mountains. It'll be really lovely. There's a river that runs through the city. The campus is fairly new and has this great building called the Hemmingson Center, where we'll be hosting the conference, between mostly the third floor and partially the second floor. It's really spacious. There's lots of windows, so even though we're inside, we won't feel crammed, hopefully. There's lots of food options, and we'll be having receptions every night, so plenty of opportunities to network and connect with folks. And it'll be a really lovely backdrop to what I know is going to be some really rich content. And we have some incredible keynotes lined up. Peter Block and Meg Wheatley will be speaking with us. Gary Musinski, Juanita Brown will be hopefully making an appearance. Edward Beltran. So excellent lineup of keynotes, and we're still locking in a couple more. Um, and so to talk about the design of the conference, if you've been participating with OD Network for the last couple of years in our conferences, you know we've been doing these more summit structures that have these long dedicated tracks that you participate in for multiple days. This year we are shifting back to a more traditional conference model, which fits the theme of the conference a little bit better, in this idea of co-collaboration and inviting people of different experience into the space and to do some learning. So these gray boxes represent our keynote spaces. The light green boxes at the bottom represent our receptions. We'll have some additional pre-conference options. And then these orange, purple, and yellow boxes represent our proposal spaces. So we have about 16 open slots for proposals. And those spaces will be two sessions each, about 2 hours before and after lunch, that'll be in these breakouts. And they are kind of in content tracks, but we don't have specific content tracks assigned right now. We're looking at what the best way to organize will be once we have all of the proposals confirmed. If we want to organize by experience level or by contact, ooh, cannot talk, content, or by past, present, future. We'll find a way to organize that helps people find your session who are looking for your content. But this is going to be the structure very similar to a traditional conference that you've probably been to many times before. And the time frame that we're looking at for each proposal is about a 40-minute presentation with 10 minutes for Q&A and 10 minutes for transition time. So that gives you about 50 minutes for your proposal. And you can use that 50 minutes however you want. And we have a little bit of a buffer there, but we want to make sure people have time to get up and move if they want to go to a different session without disrupting the next speaker. So when you're thinking about your session and how you want to design it, think about that kind of 50-minute time frame as the box. And when you're thinking about the design, we really want to avoid overly lecture style sessions. Our hope for this is that it's a very interactive conference. So we are going to be prioritizing proposals that have more of a workshop format, that are presenting research with a very relevant case study, anything that can be experiential or interactive that includes discussions or small groups or posters or ways for people to talk to each other, get out of their seat, get engaged. We want to be thinking about how we can get people doing and make it feel like an OD conference, which for me has always felt very unique and different from, marketing conferences or other conferences that I've been to where they just kind of talk at you for 5 hours and then you go have a drink. So a little bit on how to apply. We have the page up on our website, odnetwork.org/page/call for proposals 2025. It's also on our homepage banner, so pretty easy to find. And you will go to that page, you'll see a big orange button to submit your proposal, and it'll just take you to the bottom of that page, which looks like a form. And you'll fill in the information. You'll see there are 3 pages, 1, 2, 3. Basic information. The second page is going to tell us that's your bulk of the proposal. That's going to tell us about your content and your design. And then the third is a little additional information on how we as a conference can support you. What AV do you need? What kind of space do you need? Any other things like that. Timing. So call for proposals is open. We opened on May 8th and we will run through June 12th. So a little less than a month left to submit your proposals. Um, that gives us as the committee about a week and a half to review, and it'll be a really intense kind of week of reviewing, and then applicants will be notified on June 20th. And we're asking folks to confirm that they will attend by June 24th. So it's a really quick turnaround, but we want to make sure people have enough time to book plane tickets and hotel rooms. So if you're submitting a proposal, just keep these dates in mind and know that you have a decision to make around June 20th to June 24th to accept the invitation and confirm that you will be present. We will be comping tickets for you and some support if you have one or two people that need to come with you to support your presentation. We will cover the cost of your ticket, and you will just cover your plane ticket out there, or car or train, or however you travel, and your hotel while you're staying there.
Savannah, there is one question in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What is the length of for a proposal? Is the question. Maybe you're going to get into that, but I just
The
wanted you to know.
link for the proposal. So that is, um, let's see here. We're looking for proposals that'll be about 50 minutes.
D-
Um,
d- uh,
yeah, go ahead.
Jonathan, did you mean the length of the paper, the proposal to turn in, or not the length of the session?
The former, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, to turn in.
Yeah.
Can be as long or as short as it needs to be. I think I would
I hope
keep your
it's shorter
reviewers
than.
in mind, and it doesn't need to be too long. But I'm not exactly sure if there is a character limit in the form. There probably is. So, you can't just like put a scholarly paper in there.
Right, right.
It should be give us a sense of the design. And I'll talk here about what we're looking for. In your proposal, it should be relevant to the theme of the conference. I will share this deck out so you have these resources. This recording will also be available on OD Network's website, so you can refer back to it. Think about the theme, about OD, the heart of change, about these concepts of OD as an instrument for change, of human-centric and humanity first, and connecting to the world that we live in today. And make sure that the theme is coming through clearly in your content. And then we want to hear a clear and practical learning application for the participants. So like I said, we're looking for practical takeaways, real life case studies, opportunities to do and practice in real time, and highlighting what that will be and making it very clear in your proposal will be helpful in helping us review it. And then we're looking for innovation and originality. Many of us have been to many OD conferences, go to many conferences throughout the year. I know I'll be at OD ShoeCon this weekend. Perhaps many of you will be there as well. There are a lot of fantastic presentations and conversations happening out there around OD, but we want to bring something a little different. So even if it's just in the design and how people can participate in your session and consume the information, if it's something that is non-traditionally OD, but is connected, and you're finding it's having a huge impact in the HR field, project management field, IT, we want to bring those other related fields into this space. So innovative and original content is something else that we'll be looking for as well.
Do you want me? I mean, here's another question. Do you want
Yeah,
you want to hear it?
sure.
Well, there's two, but the one about proposals is, can we submit more than one?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
More than one from the same person likely won't be selected. But if you've got a lot of good ideas and you're not sure which one is going to be the best, I'm okay with multiple submissions. And knowing that we'll probably, if we were to select one, it'll be just one throughout the conference.
And then somebody wants to know if there's been a hotel, a conference hotel that's selected with reduced rates.
Not yet, but there will be. We're working on getting kind of a complimentary block with a hotel that's nearby. There are a lot of hotels that are really within walking distance of Gonzaga. So if you don't have a car, you shouldn't need to rent one or worry about parking. But I don't know which hotel we will be getting the block with, but we will know by the time your proposal is accepted, and we'll share those details with folks who are accepted. And it'll also be on the website for, early bird, and folks who want to get in on the deals early.
There's two more questions if you want me to keep going or tell me to stop. It's
I'm almost done. So maybe
okay.
let me
So
put through and then
that
we can just kind of open up for questions from everybody. And
thank you. I wasn't sure. So
yeah, I can take these slides down for us too. So some things to consider that our panel of evaluators will be thinking about is, does the topic have meaning to ODN members, OD adjacents, and leaders? This is an OD Network conference. So think about speaking to our membership and those in the field and adjacent to the field, and having that resonant message with leaders and leadership. Does the presentation elevate new concepts, practices, inspiration to advance the practice of OD? This is not just the past and the present, this is also the future. And we are really looking for concepts that help us think about how we go forward in the world. We are hopefully going to be doing a World Cafe that will be focused on this a little bit. But we really want to think about what's the future of the field? What's the future for these folks who do OD work? And how is your content helping to inspire that direction or move us in that direction? Our purpose and learning objectives clearly stated. We are a small review panel that will be viewing a lot of proposals, so clarity is key. Try to be succinct and make sure that folks don't need a PhD to understand your proposal submission. And is the presentation structure clear and relevant to the audience and their experience? Again, just putting a lot of thought into what is the design of your session? How are you going to maximize your 50 minutes and really speak to this audience and this community? Close to last, some hot tips. Be clear and specific about the learning objectives. What do you want people to walk away from your 50 minutes with? Make sure your speaker bios are written in full sentences. And honestly, the whole thing. We use these to write up the summaries that go on the registration page, that go in the agenda, that get on all of our marketing materials. So imagine that this will be public facing at some point and give us clear and complete information and complete the full submission. I think most of the entries in the form are required, but just make sure you can go in and start working on it and save it for later. But when you do finally submit, just make sure that all of the open spots are completed. Maybe last, volunteer with us. We have a conference planning committee, some volunteers on this call, and we are looking for more. So if you or people in your network are interested in getting involved in the conference, we are looking for folks to volunteer on our experience and design team. We are looking for folks on our call for proposals review team. If you are maybe thinking about it and you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm ready, I'd like to get a better sense of what these proposals look like before I submit, volunteer on the review team. And then you can get the inside scoop. And then when you decide you're ready to submit conference proposals of your own, you'll have a really good sense of what makes a killer proposal. And we're also looking for folks to staff on site our registration desk to support our keynotes and our other speakers, work in our green room and our cafe. So if you plan to be there, we are looking for folks to help us staff that space. And some benefits are shaping the conversation. If you are someone who has a lot of thoughts and feelings about OD and no one is paying you enough due, we want to hear your thoughts and feelings. And this is a great way to have a real impact and shape the conversation that's happening in the field. It's a great place to build your OD community. Nothing bonds you like working on a project like this. And we've got some really cool people who are working on it. You'll get to meet all of our keynotes face to face. So it's a great opportunity to grow your own network. And last but not least, all volunteers will get a complimentary ticket, either virtual or in person. So if you are keeping an eye on the budget, it's another great way to get to enjoy the conference. Okay, this is really the last one. Share the call. We are looking to get the absolute best proposals that we can in OD and adjacent fields. So share this with your friends, share this with your networks, invite people who you know are doing cool and interesting work to present, even if they've never presented before. This could be a good place to do it because we're looking for stuff that's maybe a little bit different and unique. And remind them that we are accepting proposals until June 12th. Okay, now I will take my slides down and we can just move straight into questions. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Can we submit more than one yes?
Rich has his hand up.
Oh, Rich, go for it.
Yeah, what was that breakdown? Was it 40 minutes? 10, what was it? 10 minutes for questions? Is it 50 minutes total? Is that what I
50
saw?
minutes total. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if people almost always want to have a little discussion at the end. So depending on your design, there may be opportunities for kind of Q&A throughout. But 50 minutes is the length of the proposals that we're looking for.
I'll just say that, experiential education is engaging throughout the whole time. So if it's just a lecture for 40 minutes and then questions, that's not exactly experiential education. So, but you only got 50 minutes total. So, that's keep that in mind. So if you're given a research paper, it's got to be snippets of it or something like that versus lecturing about the whole research paper.
Yeah, thank you. Rich, did you have another question?
I did. I'm sorry.
Okay, go for it.
Have you had in the past, because I haven't been to one of these conferences yet. Have you had in the past had anybody do anything like incorporate anything within the arts?
Oh,
Music?
yes.
Yeah, music or drawing or anything like that.
Yes,
Oh, you have.
definitely. Last year
Is
we had a jazz musician keynote and he, taught us how to listen actively through music and it was really amazing. Frank Barrett, check him out. We've
Barrett.
had folks do improv and theater related practices. Would love to see more visual arts. So yes, totally love that and very much encourage that. Love a hybrid type of presentation.
You said Frank Barrett was?
Mhm.
I just want to see the president.
Yeah, check them out.
Thanks.
Okay, if there aren't any more hands, I'm going to just run through some of the questions in the chat. Perks for speakers, so complimentary attendance to the conference. We don't have speaker fees and we're not covering travel and room and board, but you will get a complimentary ticket which comes with meals. There will be breakfast and lunch every day and a couple drink tickets at the reception for you and a speaking partner if you have someone that you present with. And of course, you'll be in all of our marketing and we'll talk you up and it'll look really good on your LinkedIn. So all those perks of speaking as well. Forecast how many attendees? Yeah, great question. So we're looking at an attendance of around 200, hopefully closer to 300 people at the conference. So I think you can expect at least 50 people in your session. That's kind of what I would think about. As you are designing for size, that's a really good one. Jonathan, go for it.
Thanks, Savannah. Is it possible for uh, people to participate via Zoom? I have a co-presenter who lives in Doha, Qatar, and that's a long trek. But could we Zoom her in for her portion of our presentation?
Yeah, totally. We will have full audio visual capabilities in every room. There is a virtual kind of experience that'll have keynotes live streamed. These proposal presentations will not be part of the virtual experience. It is an in-person perk only. But if you have a speaker that wants to tune in virtually, we can definitely facilitate that.
Okay, thank
Although
you.
we do love to have international folks join our conference, and we're happy to help them figure out visas and other things like that, which I know can be sometimes tricky. Awesome. Let's see. Experience level mix. I'm trying to think about past conferences. We tend to have, I would say, probably a little bit more of a senior mix. It is, an OD network, but we're seeing more and more emerging practitioners. I know last year we had a lot of OD adjacent practitioners, and I think especially with our kind of theme this year, I would expect probably an emerging and adjacent, a good emerging and adjacent audience, as well as a pretty solid mid-level audience, folks who have been in the field probably for like 8 to 15 years. And if your presentation is like particularly geared to a certain experience level, just flag that in the proposal. There's nothing that would like deter us from picking your proposal based on your target audience. It will just help us kind of understand the overall mix of the conference.
It'd be a bunch of Gonzaga students.
Yeah, there's usually a good student population, and we will definitely be encouraging lots of Gonzaga students to join. So think about that as well. Bookstore selling, presenting books. Yes, we are working on an author's cafe and a bookstore. So if you have a book that you would like to sell on site, that will be an option. And you can note that in your proposal as well. Does the speaker's ODN membership need to be current for proposal acceptance or just prior to conference? Neither. You don't have to be a member to speak, and you don't have to be a member to attend. It is cheaper to attend if you are a member, but if you're a speaker and we're covering your conference ticket anyways, then that doesn't matter. Of course, we encourage you to be a member because we have a lot of great things that we offer, and we would love for you to be, close to the network and kind of understand us and our membership, but not a prerequisite to being selected. Hard stop, no problem. This will be available. The recording will be available afterwards, so no worries if you need to hop off. Is there a file of presentations from past conferences? Very good question. There is not. If you attended last year, then you would have access to all of the presentations and some of the recordings online. But if you have any specific questions, then maybe we could perhaps get you some access to some of our presentations from last year if you just reach out to me.
What about topics, at least topics or short descriptions of some of the past presentations?
Of past years?
Yeah, that might just help.
Yeah. We include some kind of topic suggestions in the submit for proposals page. There's kind of a bullet list around like organizational culture and co-creation in the world today, and a couple of other things that we are thinking about as topics for this conference. And that's what I would kind of focus more on because our last two themes have been kind of specific around like artificial intelligence and environmentalism. And so a little bit of a different slant this year. Attendee profile is going to be a mix. Largely people familiar with OD either as students, emerging practitioners, mid or late career practitioners. Lots of OD adjacent folks coming from HR, leadership, project management, change management, IT, talent acquisition, talent development, all the kind of related fields that you can think of. We are offering a pre-conference course that's going to be OD fundamentals based on our Global Competency Framework series for folks who are brand new to OD. To help them get a little familiar with some of the language and come in with kind of a base of OD knowledge that they can bring into it. So I wouldn't say you need to skew your proposal to like a complete OD novice. I would think most folks have some relationship with the field, if not a fairly deep relationship with the field. Share the recording so I can sell to other presenters. Yes, Christine, we will share this recording. Anyone who registered for this session, you'll get this recording and these slides that I ran through afterwards. And please sell to others. Invite all of your friends. Is there a presentation template? There is not. I think especially because we're looking at interactive experiential workshop type presentations, there really isn't a template. And we'll kind of lean on you and your expertise in facilitating those types of sessions for what it needs to look like. I would hope that we don't see a ton of just like going through slides, you know. People are taking time off work, spending a lot of money, getting out of their day-to-day. We want to create a unique experience, something that you wouldn't get just in a grad school course or watching a Zoom webinar. We want to make this a really unique space for connection and learning. So looking to you to help us design what that looks like. Is there a fee to participate in the Authors Cafe if you aren't presenting? I don't know yet. We're prioritizing speakers first, and then we'll kind of see how much space we have left. And if there are opportunities to participate in the bookstore, we will definitely be sending those out. So just follow ODN's emails. Make sure that you're on our email list and getting those. Sometimes you need to like mark them to go into your main inbox instead of your promotions tab. But we'll be putting out lots of communications around this and we'll let you know how you can participate in the cafe if it opens up. Any other questions or comments? How's this? You guys are the first ones to really hear about this theme, so would love any feedback as well.
So it's bridging past to the future, but then putting it into the framework of shared learning, culture. So and trying to push all that forward. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Savannah that you're trying to do some things differently and do some new things. I think that'll be helpful. And we haven't had big participation some years, and I think we need to get something that'll draw more people. So I think that's very valuable. Thank you.
I'll just comment. I haven't been to an ODN in a while, either as a presenter or a participant, but the tone that you've done this in reminds me of good old OD network conferences. And I think
Yeah.
that humanity comes across. And I remember the conferences I've been to, quite a few, and they all had that. So thanks for doing it in that way.
Oh, thank you so much, Bruce. I really appreciate that. Yeah, if you didn't go last year, our conference was focused on artificial intelligence and emerging technology. And I think it's an important conversation to continue, and I hope we do this year. We've got to, especially these days, we've got to put humanity back at the center of conversation. And so we're really looking forward to being able to do that at this conference.
I also want to add that for me, it's important that we don't lose sight of business results or results in general and humanity first. So to me, it's an and, it's not an either or.
Totally.
And to attract organizations to this field, I think we best have both in mind.
Oh, yeah. And that's a winning proposal right there. How do you do both? Let's see how you're able to successfully deliver on results and have that humanity first approach to your work. I would go to see that presentation.
Savannah, I'm very excited to hear about the focus of this year's conference. As you explained earlier in your remarks, it's not so much about the individual, but about global impact, the big change. How can OD contribute and really make it an impact? Yes, individual skills and specialties and all that stuff are important, and OD practitioners run the gamut. But at the end of the day, what's the impact?
Mhm.
And that truly is a huge question for OD people.
Yes, spot on. Love that. Thank you. Yeah, Kathleen.
Yeah, I want to echo some of the other comments about kind of the tone, the nature of this, because I like the openness much more. So it's not quite so directed as I've seen the last couple of years, where it's like I couldn't really find a slot, so to speak, that really related to what I was interested in. So I like the openness on this. Question for you, and this is one of the reasons why I was asking about, being able to look at past proposals, at least, to just have a better understanding of when you say you want something experiential, or, the workshop-y kind of feel to it. I agree with one of the comments there about 50 minutes, to present and have questions and also engage people. I mean, I get that we want people to actually have something sticky, but could you speak a little bit about maybe a couple of different presentations that really landed well because of how they broke up that time, is kind of what I'm looking for. And then the second question I have for you, in the title itself, or thinking about OD as an instrument for change, should we lean more into just this notion of change in our broader environment? I mean, let's face it, we are in a time of disruption like no other. So how would you want us to kind of think about working with that topic?
Yeah, great question. I'll start with the 50 minutes. And I saw Orna's question as well. We want to give folks the opportunity to experience as much content as they can in what is really 2.5 days. It's not a ton of time. But we are totally open. If you have an idea and you're like, here's the thing, this is going to blow everyone's socks off, but I need 2 hours, put that in your proposal. That will not be a no. We want to hear it. If it's something where it's like, I can do this in 50, but it's better in 90, let us know. So give us, as the review team, some guidance there. We are kind of putting everything in like a general box to start, and then the review team and the design team will come together and look at the proposals, and based on what feels like the best content, we can change the design however we want. The beauty of being in charge of our own conference. So it's not a no, but you need to make a really strong case for why you're going to need extra time.
I'd
Yeah,
like to add something
right.
to this too. Just because it says 40 minutes presentation, 10 minutes Q&A, I want you to think that you could just have people turn and talk about something right away. And you don't have to dump a bunch of data, and you don't have to be, just speak eloquently for 30 minutes. If you are able to find an experiential way to help people engage, learn, and that's great. And again, I want to echo what you said, Savannah. If you have something for 90 minutes or 2 hours, say it and we'll make a decision.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. And just on the, how do you get, what does a successful presentation look like in this time constraint? I think this is where getting really clear on what your learning objectives are when you're putting your proposal together. What is the takeaway, and designing with like the end in mind, kind of starting at the end and working backwards could be helpful. Because it is 2.5 days. It's jam-packed with information. I'm only going to remember a handful of things every single day. And having the presentations that have really stuck with me have had that experience element, that kind of get me out of my comfort zone and have a really clear thing that I can walk away with and use tomorrow at my job. Which goes to your third question around context within the world. I don't think that proposals need to be connected to big global changes. This is a systems field, a sense of the systems that we are existing in should be felt. But I think while the presentation doesn't have to focus on what's happening in the world, it should be aware of the context of the world. So, we don't have to have all of the presentations be about how you can solve climate change or become a justice advocate. It could just be what you do in your job, but understanding the context of the world that we live in with lots of change and lots of stress and in some cases, people finding it hard to find work. And what does that mean for folks? How do we make our work more marketable internally and externally? Like just considering those contexts will be important.
I think I kind of misspoke when I was saying that. It was more about the difference in the title itself, OD, the heart of change, our past, present, and future. It was more about, should we lean more into the context of change or about OD, past, present, and future? And I think what I'm hearing you say, well, you could do both, but yeah. So I wasn't so much thinking about, solving world hunger and that sort of thing, but more in the context of continuous change. That's what we do in OD and deal with that. So I think I'm hearing you say, yeah, that's the right spirit to be thinking about how
100%.
OD really, is the heart of change. So
Yeah,
thanks.
totally.
Okay.
Yes. And I also think it could be interesting to have a track that's focused on the field, reflecting on the field itself and working on that and thinking about that. I don't know if other people want to be into that, but I could see a case for it. So if focusing on ODs, past, present, and future is a concept that's interesting to you, maybe that's something that would be interesting to others as well. Other questions or comments? We've got 9 minutes left. I want to call out some of our awesome committee volunteers. Chris Crosby, thank you for being on and helping to shape this discussion. Marissa Gleason, thanks for being on. Gonzaga soon-to-be alum. And then Charlene Vasselwright I saw you on camera earlier. If I'm missing anyone else who's a volunteer, let me know. But looking for more folks. So if you have emerging practitioners in your life, if you have some time and want to give back to the field, think about volunteering with us. And just big shout out to these folks who are helping to shape this incredible conference for you all. Other questions or comments?
What can I ask? What kind of resources can we request? I mean, I'm sure there's the screen, microphone. Are there any other things people have requested in the past?
What about flip charts?
Yeah, we might have some stuff like that available, you know,
I know I'm
posters,
old fashioned, but I still like flip
markers.
charts.
Yeah. Pens, if you have props that you like to bring and use, we love to see that. I think we asked like what type of space do you need? So we have a couple different rooms that we're placing people in. And if you know, if a desk type situation isn't going to work for your design, let us know that so we can make sure we have the right space for, you know, an open circle of chairs, or if you want to go outside, the weather should be lovely. We did like posters outside 2 years ago in the courtyard, and it was really nice to get some vitamin D. So anything like that as you're thinking about this design, just note that, and we'll make sure we have it built into the design.
There's a soccer field. People can go right on the soccer field. Maybe not. That's just
Yeah. Yeah. It's a gorgeous campus. Maybe there's a scavenger hunt element. Who knows? Anything else? Give it just one more minute.
Do you know if the basketball team is playing during that time?
I'm gonna look.
These are important
Um,
questions.
Yes. Gonzaga does have one of, I don't know how it's doing these days, but it was the best college basketball team
Yep.
in the US for a period of time. And they have a beautiful new sports facility that has actually a really great meeting space where I think we might be holding our gala. So some kind of cool connection with Gonzaga and that campus that they're just investing a lot into. And it's really lovely. The Hemmingson Center is big and airy and has all these windows and is also built with this big sustainability mindset. So they did all this stuff to make it super power efficient. They don't sell water bottles. It's a bunch of water stations to encourage people to reduce and reuse, and has a really cool sustainability story. So we'll be bringing some of that context into the conference, but it's a fun fact.
Savannah, thank you very much. This was very helpful. And I'm glad to see, as I stated before, the direction of this conference. I think it's really exciting and right on target for what's needed. Say just a quick word before we go about the gala. Is that like the group dinner for one night? Other nights we're on their own, or how's that work?
So it is our awards ceremony, and information to come out about our awards soon, another way to get recognized at the conference. But we do a seated dinner and a big awards ceremony. We'll have a reception beforehand, and it's a fun party and a celebration of OD and folks doing work in the field. So more info to come out about that soon. That'll be on Tuesday night. And then we do have kind of receptions and mixers at the end of every day to get people to stay and mix and mingle. And we'll have some kind of planned activities for group dinners or other activities if folks want to participate in those, available as well.
So the conference ends on what, like noon on Wednesday? Theoretically, people could fly out that afternoon.
Exactly. I think at around maybe 2 o'clock on Wednesday, to allow folks time to get out of there and head back if they want to.
And Savannah, I hope you and your team best of wishes putting this together in the new way. I like to hear that. I think you can do it. I like you leading.
Thank you. Oh, wish me luck. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited. Thank you all so much for attending today, for your thoughtful questions and feedback. I'll be following up with this recording and the slides that we reviewed today. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or Chris or Marissa or Charlene, and we'd be happy to help answer those questions for you. Feel free to hop off if you have anything else. I'll stay on for a few more minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of
report.
dancing
Oh,
at
let
all.
me-
Now I'm inspired.
Yay! Woohoo!
One of the professors at
Let me
Gonzaga.
stop our recording real quick.
Oh yeah.